Hey guys, long time no see. This is Roejimbo, and it's been a while since I've shot a video. I've kind of been doing my own thing, kind of shifting my business. I don't know if you guys know I do metalworking, and sculpture and just a lot of different kinds of art. And I have this knife that I was actually going to be doing some custom work on, but I've decided to pivot and take a different direction with this project. So I'm sending this knife back, and you probably already saw from the title, it's a Reese Weiland Karambit, Trigger Karambit, and it's just too nice of a knife not to show you guys before it leaves my hands. I've had a few knives here that I haven't shot videos on, but they've been kind of classic, cold steels and a few balisongs, stuff that you can see on other channels. I don't know if there's any other videos on the Reese Weiland Karambit. So again, this is the trigger, and it's called the trigger because there is this trigger that Reese has designed into it where when you pull the trigger, it fires. So it's kind of like an auto knife, but it is not actually auto. If you look inside, you can see, let's see, when I wiggle this trigger here, you see how there's that, let's see, focus, please. You can see how there is a bar inside that's moving and a little post that's in effect kind of just bumping the blade. It's like a flipper, but it is a lever assisted flipper. So yeah, kind of an interesting design, a really cool design actually, because it fires with some pretty good authority, and yeah, it's a nicely sized knife, really a decent size. If you want to compare it to something, we could compare it to the Emerson Karambit. Of course, this one wearing my custom Scorpion scale there, but as you can see, there's blade to blade. It's got, practically another inch on it blade lengthwise. This is the Combat Karambit, so I believe this is like a 2.9-inch blade. And then the handle is significantly larger as well. So it's a large knife, and the construction is titanium, really pretty darn thick chunks of titanium. Let me get out a calipers here and you can get an idea of exactly how thick these slabs are. So we're talking 4 millimeter slabs of titanium. The back spacer looks to be, let's see, we'll measure it up here. Back spacer is almost a 6 millimeter piece of titanium, and overall we're talking 13, almost 14 millimeter thick. That's let's see, let's get it in inches. You're talking over a ½ inch thick for this knife. So it is a bulky knife. It is a heavy knife. But it's really nicely designed. I've seen a few different varieties of it. Sometimes they have kind of more of a standard, almost like Emerson style metal clip, kind of like this. But this one actually has like a 3D machined titanium clip, which is really nice. And then the blade has this really nice hand brushed satin. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, you can kind of see there. Really nice, very like subtle but classy finishing on this knife. The trigger, where the trigger rubs against the ring finger here, or this like back spacer, you can see it's kind of like chafing it. That looks a little, that's kind of, I wish there was something that was a little bit different about that, so you didn't get that. Also, this trigger is a very thin piece of titanium, so that I kind of feel like feels a little a little more flim-flam than it really should be. You can see the lockup is pretty early and very stout. It's nice how he has it sort of chamfered out on the inside here so that you get this kind of just completely flat exterior look. And then it's kind of neat the way he has this constructed, where you have these pins and screws coming through one side of the scale, and then threading into the secondary scale, the other side of the knife. So it's just completely flush on this side. Damn, the camera keeps on shorting out on me. So yeah, it's a really interesting knife. Unfortunately, with the way it is constructed, it's kind of a difficult knife to make modification to. It's perfect if you're a titanium carver and you're just going to take this thing and just lay into it and carve all sorts of like beautiful fun stuff into the titanium. But that is a skill that I'm still working up to. Carving titanium I've done a few projects, but it is heavy duty, man. Heavy, you know. Titanium's hard, okay? It's difficult to carve. It's hard on your bits. It's kind of a bitch. So, you know, that's pretty much all that I'm going to say about, you know, this knife. If all you're interested in is checking out this knife, cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed kind of getting a hands-on look at it. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into what it was I was planning on doing with the knife, how I was going to modify it, and kind of why I decided to pivot on that. So if you want to listen to, you know, my ramblings about, you know, my art and stuff like that, stick around. So what I was going to do, the original plan was to do something like this. This is like my initial drawings, real dirty and scratchy. And this was, so originally I was going to be doing a modification for a customer on a Browse Blades Enforcer. And the Browse Blades gets put together similar to an Emerson, where you have steel liners and you have G10 like scales over the top. So I was going to do it the same way I did this, basically replace the G10 scale with a brass scale. And then Browse actually announced that they were going to take the Enforcer and turn it into a Chinese-produced like line item, and that was really not something that was appealing to either me or my customer. And so so my customer wanted to go with this knife instead. It was not my first choice. I would have enjoyed doing something like the Emerson, like a Super Karambit, or even a Karambit XHD if he wanted something a little more premium. But he really enjoys these Reese Weiland knives, and I could totally see why. And so I accepted the mission, the job, kind of not exactly knowing how it was going to come together, figuring I would figure it out along the way. I would advise against doing that. If you're a creator, try and know what it is that how you're going to do it before you do it. Kind of like learning on the, you know, growing your wings on the way down isn't always the best method. Anyways, I was going to try and adhere silver scales to either side of this, and then put a skull over the top of this. And so I actually have done the pieces. This is the wax for that side. All of these pipes were going to be, once cast in silver, routed into the skull. The skull, let's see, come on, focus. The skull is this guy right here. So, you know, the work was incredible. I'm very pleased to have done this work. It's some of the best work I've done, but it's also I'm still very unsure as to how one would put this onto this knife. I'd have to drill a hole through this thing to accommodate that hole for the trigger, as well as route out a channel down the center of the skull in order to get it to go over this. The other side, the reverse here, would be this guy. And again, really stoked about how this turned out, but unfortunately, trying to get that to adhere over the top of this, especially with the way the screws work, I feel like I would probably be in the business of trying to get someone else to create custom screws to go over it. Then trying to get this pocket clip to go over the top of that scale, and then carving detail into this. And then I would love to have a spine as well, you know, some kind of wicked, you know, servo spine with all kinds of mechanical features. But how to fit that, you know, there's just a lot of problems with this knife. So thankfully, my customer was okay with pivoting on this. Well, you know, he was a little less pleased than than he probably wanted to be, but ultimately, you have to make the right decision for yourself. And so what's going to be happening is this knife is going to still happen, but I'm not going to do a hole through the thing. I'm going to do it all as solid construction, and I'm going to do a fixed blade of my own design. So yeah, I'm opening up a forge, or building my forge right now, and the idea will be to start releasing some knives. This one will obviously be a very special and limited run. I think about 13 pieces max. And yeah, I think it'll be just way easier because I'll be able to do this piece, the skull, and the spine as a single piece, lay in my blade, and then add on the second scale. So yeah, I think it's going to make for a really amazing knife. And when it's done, I will definitely bring it to you guys and show you on the channel. I'm starting to do a rebrand, so over on Instagram, I'm now the Starlight Forge is my new Instagram handle. So if you want to check out more of it, see the other kind of work that I'm creating, not all of it is this badass. Some of it's more kind of whimsical. And that's just part of the redirection that I'm doing now. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the look at this amazing beast of a Browse Blades Karambit and my new project. And I will talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.